back with you today in the Let's Talk podcast. Make sure when y'all come on that you share, 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 share. Y'all, we are almost done with season two of the Love Talk podcast. We are literally almost done, coming to an end. And as you can tell by today's intro, we have DJ Devv, who's also a content creator on TikTok, joining us today on the Let's Talk podcast. I'm super excited to have him on. Today we are going to be talking about the love for old school culture, old school music. Y'all know that 90s R&B like that we love listening to? That's what we're talking about today on the show. And so I'm super excited to have him here with me. I found him on TikTok. I found him on TikTok, and he was up there jamming, and he was singing. He trying to act like he don't sing, but he sing for real. And excuse me, y'all, it's been a busy day. I want y'all to make sure I keep my family in prayers, keep them lifted up. And when you get on here, share, follow. Y'all know all that good stuff. Make sure you drop some purple hearts in the comments. As you can tell, I'm not at home right now. I'm not at home, but like I said, y'all keep my families up in prayer. We had a funeral today. It was my auntie's funeral. But it was a celebration of life, and everything was beautiful, and it was awesome. And so, yeah, like I said, I'm not at home, but it's okay. It's okay because the show goes on, and we are going to continue on today's episode of the Let's Talk podcast with our guest, DJ Devv, who I'm about to bring to the stage right now. Y'all go ahead and get ready. I'm super excited to have him on, and so let's get it. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm here, and I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming. Sorry, y'all. We had some technical difficulties. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me. We had some stuff going on. We were trying to figure it out, but we got together. And we are here. So how are you? How's everything going with you today?
You know what? I'm blessed. Everything is good.
Amen.
I keep, complaining too much. My condolences to you and your family going through this rough time.
Thank you.
Praying for you all.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Like you said, God is good. It was my aunt's funeral today, but it was really a celebration of life, and it was really awesome. My family, they had this whole super choir. They was all up there singing, and so it was really good having a chance to not only celebrate her life, but to spend time with family. It's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's always a good thing. Absolutely. So, okay, now to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and be a part of this with me. Like, that's really dope. I wasn't sure what you was gonna say, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my shot anyway.
Oh no, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Seriously.
Awesome. Again, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, DJ Devv. What? How did you get into DJing? Like, where did that come from?
So there's actually an interesting story behind that.
Okay.
I got me a considerable following on TikTok, and I just happened to start going live and all that. And while I was going live, I would play music in the background, just random songs that I liked, and people were like feeling the music that I was playing. So gradually, more and more, the more I started going live, the more I started playing music, and then I started getting requests to actually play music, on my live. Well, play this song. So I started playing those kinds of songs, and that's when the Blue Teeth Lounge actually was actually birthed out of that. Shout out to the Blue Teeth Lounge and everybody in there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that, I don't know. I just kind of steered my eyes towards an actual DJ board and trying to mix songs, and it happened. It just came out of nowhere, honestly.
As far as you DJ and like how how long was it? Because I know some people like they normally have a passion for it, and they practice it for so long. But TikTok ain't been around that long, so that means this is something that is relatively new.
Oh, this is brand new. This is absolutely brand new. I've been singing and like working the microphones at my church and working the PA system and the soundboard at my church for years. But as far as being an actual DJ, that literally just happened probably in about the last month and a half, 2 months. Yeah,
Wow, that is awesome. That is
yeah,
awesome. So it's like very new. It's
very
very
new.
new. And so now that you are a DJ, I mean, what is your plans? Do you plan on like DJing weddings? You're gonna be doing birthday parties? Uh, how far and where you want to take it?
Um, actually, right now, I'm willing to go as far as it'll take me. I've actually done my first actual DJ gig at a like a it was a Christian teen night, and I did a set there. But yeah, I'm open for weddings, events, all that kind of stuff. I'm ready to actually get in it, you know. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. That is super, super awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
I thought this was something that you have been doing like for a while. This is something that you just started. And every
this
time
is
I get on
brand
your
new. Thank
lives,
you.
like there's always so many people on your lives. There's always so many people like there just jamming out with you and just really getting, and rocking out with you. And I think that's awesome. That's really, really awesome. When you find what you're good at and especially if the Lord okays it,
Yeah.
it produces so much more. And so I think that's really awesome because for you to be just starting this, I thought this was something that you've been doing for years.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I give off that impression, but
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you know. But yeah, I actually kind of mentioned it to the people that was in my live. I was like, hey, I think I might pick up DJing, and I got a lot of positive response. Like, yeah, you should do it. You should really do it. You're really good. I was like, so let me pick it up and see what happens. And so far, it's turning out pretty good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Like I said, anywhere
Yeah,
where the Lord is and where He leads you to, it's always going to be good.
that's
So
right.
it's always going to be good. And so every time I come in there, you're always playing some old school, some R&B, some 90s R&B, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have a love for the culture, for the 90s culture, especially the music.
Right.
Um, is that your most requested songs? Are people asking you to play more newer stuff? What do you try to do and mix as far as music when it comes to your music? What is something that gets uh more requests, I guess?
So the most requests I get are like for between 80s and 90s R&B. That's pretty much where everybody stays at. We do a gospel night as well. And for the gospel night, it's pretty much the same thing, 80s and 90s gospel. So those two time periods are my most requested eras that I get every time.
Awesome, awesome. And so, how many people have you seen in your TikTok? I was like, how many, what's your numbers as far as your lives and people that they're reaching?
So generally, every time we go live, there's generally between 75 to about 150 people that come in at one time.
They're pretty
Um,
decent.
it is pretty decent. I'm grateful. The thing that I'm grateful for the most is that I have the same people that come in almost every time. I have a lot of regulars that come in, and
Hmm.
they made the Blue Teeth Lounge their home. So I'm just so grateful for the amazing people that make up the Blue Teeth Lounge and vibe with us and hang with us. It's always a good time when you have the same group of people that come in and they trust your musical taste. They trust your judgment in music. It's a wonderful feeling.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the Blue Teeth Lounge, where did that come from? Like the Blue Teeth. You said Blue Teeth, and I immediately thought of Bluetooth, and I'm like, wait, no, it can't be. It can't be that. Like, where did that come from?
I get asked this. all the time. So, but I love answering it because it's a wonderful story. So, um, as some of y'all might know, I have a dad character that I do. Where my dad calls me up and he needs help with his you know technology things and all that, and it's a wordplay on the word Bluetooth. So my dad, in the videos, my dad can never say Bluetooth. He always says blue teeth. So that became a rolling joke within the early days of my life. So when this became an actual thing and people started coming in regularly, I was like, we need to come up with a name for our group. We need to come up with a name for it. And almost unanimously, everybody was like, Blue Teeth. Let's just call ourselves Blue Teeth. And I was like, okay, I like it, but we got to put a little bit something extra on it because Blue Teeth by itself is not going to really, it's not going to really work too well. So they were like, let's just call ourselves the Blue Teeth Lounge. I was like, oh, I love that. I absolutely love it. And from then on, that's who we have become. We are the Blue Teeth Lounge. We're Blue Teethers. Uh, it's a whole thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
That's
a dope
awesome.
story.
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I was wondering because I was like, where did that came from? Because that was, like I said, that was the first thing that came to my mind was Bluetooth, and I was
Yeah.
like, but Bluetooth, like, huh?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's funny that the backstory has something to actually do with Bluetooth. That's really, really funny.
Mhm. You know, and it sets us apart. People really are intrigued really by our name. So it makes people come in and
Hmm.
check us out. And then when people come in and check us out, they're like, "Oh, this is dope. I like this," and they end up staying. So thank God for that.
Awesome. Okay, sorry, they're going over the
You
super
good.
choir. But that's really, really awesome. So I saw something earlier on your TikTok about you doing, I think, a tour, or you're traveling somewhere to do your first tour or something along that line.
Ooh. So we are still believing God for a tour.
It was
Uh,
something I saw on your something I saw on your
yeah.
page. It may not be a tour, but hey, look, you never know what the Lord gonna do. We gonna believe God for it, like you said. But there was something where you're supposed to be doing some type of event.
Absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up. Actually, so we are actually
Yeah.
doing a meet and greet right here in Omaha, and it's going to be a live kickback. We're actually meeting the people that we hang out with online all the time. We're actually going to meet up, in person, take pictures, actually vibe out with each other. I'm going to be doing a live DJ set of all of our favorite songs that we have been requesting over the last couple of months. It's just going to be a good time and a good chance for me to actually meet everybody that has trusted me enough to follow me and to follow me in this journey. So August 3rd, we're meeting right here in Omaha, Nebraska, at the DoubleTree Hotel downtown. We rented out a space. There's going to be food and drinks, and it's going to be a good time. Oh, I think you might have froze there.
Like, what was that like pulling that together? What made you decide to want to do that?
So I actually had no plans on doing a meet and greet in the beginning. Um, it was actually brought up by one of our moderators. She was like, "We need to actually do this, in person because if you know online it's like this. We need to actually do this in person and feel what it feels like, you know, in person instead of just being online." So I kind of put it out there again in the live. I was like, if we did a meet and greet, who all would actually come? Who would come to Omaha to do this in person? And a lot of people were like, oh, I just live in Chicago. I'll drive down, and we'll make a road trip out of it. And people are like, I live in Kansas City. We'll just come driving up. One person was like, I'll take the train. Like there's people who are really making accommodations and trying to figure
Wow,
out.
that's so awesome.
Yeah,
That is so awesome. But that shows you like the impact and like the different places where you're reaching.
praise God.
It's really,
It's
really awesome, and that's always a great thing because you never know what it could turn into or how much
yeah,
bigger it can be, especially with God, like I
yeah,
said, back you up and being behind you on that.
yeah.
And that's
I'm just
really, really awesome. They said they coming from road trip. They coming from Chicago.
they come you know, they come from all over, and I'm just grateful that they're making it a mission to come out here. So I'm grateful.
And support, and that's really, really
Absolutely,
awesome. Really, really
absolutely.
awesome. Congratulations to you on that and that meet and greet that you're going to be doing. That's really awesome. And
Thank you.
so, did you, when you first started, did you just kind of already jump into the 90s, 80s R&B, or were you just kind of trying to feel your way out? Like, what made you want to stick with that? Because, like I said, me personally, I was born in '89. I'm an '80s baby. Born in
Mhm,
'89, raised in the '90s. I know that music is all around me because of my mama, everybody. I know that, and I have
mhm.
it in me. So for me, that's where I always go to. But what made
Yeah,
you? Did you kind of have to figure out like where you wanted to be, or how did that start? As
yeah,
far as like you testing out different music and things like that, or was you just kind of seeing what would pick up and what wouldn't?
yeah. So I am an old soul. So I was born in '91. So I pretty much knew that when I was going to start doing this, a lot of my music was going to be from the '90s and the early 2000s. Um, and my mom and my grandma, they listened to a lot of old school songs. My dad as well, they listened to a lot of old school. So I'm also reaching back to like the '60s and '70s, getting music from there. But when I first started out, I started out doing pretty much '90s and early 2000s music, just because that's what I like. That's what made me comfortable being on live and talking to people on a camera. And so getting on live and playing that kind of music, you find out that a lot of people have pretty much the same taste that you have. So they came on, they was like, "Oh, this is my jam. I love this song. I loved it," and it just blew up from there. But I always knew that '90s, early 2000s was kind of my bag. That's where I get a lot of my shine at.
That's where you were at, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, and that's good. I'm glad you just kind of dove into it and you knew what you wanted to do. That's really, really
Mhm.
great. Because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of this music now, a lot of this new music, it sounds the same. It
Yeah.
sounds the same, and I can't vibe with a lot of it. I just can't
Yeah.
get with it.
I
And
think
so,
a
what do you?
lot of it is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, sorry, background.
I was just gonna say. I think a lot of the music today. I think they found something that they believe works. So because they saw this person have success with this certain kind of sound, they're gonna try to copy that sound just to make sure that they get their bag too. So, and again, it manipulates the music culture that we have now to think that um, rap is only this certain sound, or R&B only has this certain sound. And then when you have people who step out of the bag and do something different, it's almost unorthodox, or it's almost weird. You know what I'm saying?
Almost like
So
unheard of, right?
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
and that's so weird to me because I'm like, why do? It's like I don't. We're all different. We're all different, and I don't believe that you should be trying to, like you said, copy or mimic someone else's sound. Find your own
mhm,
sound. And so that's
right,
why when I find people and I'm looking for artists, I'm always looking for people who can give and bring up and be like, there's so many people now are doing the same thing. Literature, lyrics, sound, everything is the same. It's talking about the same thing. A lot of the
mhm,
music, in fact, is very over sexual.
Yeah.
And it's not just one or two songs. It'd be like a whole album and and just like missing that thing that makes them that sets them apart, that makes them an individual.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, now I will.
Yeah, so it's I just
now
go ahead.
I will say that a lot of the older music, um it wasn't so doing a lot so doing a lot of this doing a lot of the lyric videos. um I will say that a lot of the old school songs were, oh snap, there she goes. There you go.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're
There
good.
you go.
I will say, doing a lot of the lyric videos, I have found that a lot of the older songs were also sexual too. they just hit it. They just hit it a lot better than we do. This I think this generation is very much into the sexual liberation movement, which hey, that's that's wonderful. That's great. Do you? Um, but I think a lot of the older songs, you really had to listen to what they were saying. That you had to
That's
listen and
true.
actually get,
That's true.
you know what I'm saying. So it's very interesting to go through these lyrics now and be like, oh, he was talking about this. That's crazy. So, but yeah,
You know what? That's really true. That's really, really true. Because I have seen a few of your videos where you're like, okay, the lyrics, you finally listen to them and like, oh my goodness, they said that. So since you brought that up, what made you want to start that? Were you literally just one day listening to some music that you had heard before and pick something up? Like, what made you want to start doing those videos?
so it actually happened by accident. I was I was at work, and it was getting towards the end of the day, and nobody was there. So I figured, I would just go ahead and go scroll on TikTok, look through some things, and there was a video of the Isley brothers, and they were singing "Between the Sheets." Now we know that song is pretty much, it
It's sexual.
explains itself, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But I guess I didn't realize the actual degree of what they were actually talking about. So he gets to a certain part, and I'm like, oh, Ron was actually being wild. Ron was a wild boy. So I'm like, let me actually record my reaction to this video. And I recorded it and I posted it, not thinking anything of it. And when I left work and got home, it had already generated like 10 to 15,000 views and just kept on growing from there. So I figured, you know what? I'm just gonna keep this up and look at some more lyrics and find out what everybody else was talking about. And I started getting requests from everybody, and people were saying, "You should listen to this. You should listen to this." And the more songs I listened to, the more I was like, "Wow, this is absolutely wild." A lot of these songs are pretty deep.
That the '90s fair of ratchet music,
Mhm.
especially rap, because my neck and my back was very much a real song. But
Yeah,
but there are some things now where it's just like, oh my goodness, did she really just say that? Like,
yeah,
and maybe because I'm
yeah.
getting older. Could be because I'm getting older. I'll be 35 this year. I think that could be it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I have kids. But
We the
now it's
same. Yeah,
just like, oh
we
my
the same.
goodness, God, God, Jesus.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
really going on?
Crazy. Yeah.
So if you had the chance to tell any artist, okay, look, here's what you could change to be more original, who would that be? Like, if you want to switch up anybody's sound, whose sound would you want to
Mm,
go and change up as far as who's new?
as far as who's new. Hmm. That is an interesting question. Um, hmm, that is a good question. If I could go back and switch up anybody new and tell them to change their sound.
Okay,
Mm,
there we go. Sorry.
no,
You can go ahead though. Answer the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
that is actually a good question. So I don't really spend too much time listening to newer stuff. I guess I don't really have anybody just because I um I don't really pay a lot of attention to the newer stuff. So I really couldn't give you a new artist name if I can, if I could. The last person I remember I can think of is I would say like maybe like Lil Nas X. Yeah, that's and that I'm showing my
Ooh,
age here.
child, that brother there.
So
Woo, Lord.
mm, yeah, I guess he would be the one I'd be like, hey, maybe switch it up. Try something else. You know.
Try something else. I can definitely agree with you on that. I think a lot of the music now is definitely trying to fit in. And I think, this is nothing new. Fit in with the world, fit in with the trend,
Yeah.
while really not making a good choice or decision
Right.
on should I go this route. And I
Mhm.
think that plays a really, huge it plays it's really impactful. It's really, really impactful because a lot
Mhm.
of this music as well, especially when you think of like the Little Nas X's and the Cardi B's and things like that, kids are listening to, babies are
Yeah.
listening to, and
Right.
I'm not sure if that's really being considered when
Mhm.
making this music. But then I'm not really sure if they really owe anybody any consideration at all. Period. But it's like some of these songs that they call that are trendy songs are not anything that I personally would want my children
Mhm.
listening to or even engaging in.
Yeah. I think there's a I think there's a double side to that coin, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely um the artist really is not taking into consideration who all is going to be listening. The artist really is trying to do whatever is going to make them the most money. Then you have a lot of writers, you have a lot of people, behind the scenes that are actually pushing this narrative because now this narrative is popular. This narrative has generated a lot of money. The ratchet, the over sexualized vibes, the really tough gangster vibes. That's what makes money now. So you have a lot of corporate big heads. You have a lot of writers that are pushing this narrative because that's what's making them the most money. I think on the other side of that coin, it's up to us as parents to actually monitor what our children are listening to. Um, I see a lot of parents who go after the artist and be like, "You're singing about this, you're rapping about this, you're contaminating our children, you're contaminating our culture and all that." But I think being the authoritative role over your children, over your house, I think that plays a significant role in what your children are intaking, if that makes sense. Um, so there has to be some kind of accountability on behalf of the parents as well. Now, not trying to um, excuse the artist, because again, a lot of this music is a little wild. A lot of this music is like you really didn't
And
have to
that's
say that,
true. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's
But
very,
yeah,
very
that's
true. And like you said, it is really a double sided um coin type of thing. For me personally, I play a lot of old school music, play a lot of
yeah,
old school music in front of my kids. There's not many newer artists that I listen to that I like. I don't play, the radio. I'm not playing what's trending. I play a lot of old school music. But then what I realized being a parent is I have 3 children. And what I realized is that, my kids, they would go to school and
yeah,
come home from school and they've know songs they've never heard in this house.
yeah,
And so, I also, when I think of that, it's like, okay, Lord, help me to do what's right. But then for
mhm,
my kids, when they leave the house, for it
mhm,
to that what
Right.
they've learned that they take it with them
There you go.
because there
Yep.
is an influence outside of the home.
Right. And I think our goal as parents is to be the biggest influence for our children. That way, when they leave the house, the things that they learn inside the house stay with them. So I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely, one
Right.
thousand percent.
Absolutely. 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 That's why I was like, okay, now this is what we listening to. We're gonna look.
Yeah.
We're gonna clean the gospel. We're gonna clean this 90s R&B, but this is what we're gonna do.
We
But
can do-
it
Yep.
also gives us a chance as parents to pass down what was passed down to us too, which I think is really,
Yeah.
really awesome. We're introducing them into something new and introducing them into this culture that, or
Mm.
else, through the music now, they would have never experienced.
Right. Right.
And I
Exactly.
think we really owe it, just to the culture and the music alone, really just to keep it alive for as long as we can, because it
Yeah.
was so impactful. The 90s had a lot going on, a
Yeah.
lot going on, but it was super, super impactful, and it was really a game changer. I hear a lot of people all the time. I know we hear this all the time. People want that 90s R&B love. Can we go back to how the 90s used to be? Because it was such a good time.
Yeah.
It was such
The
a good
'90s.
time.
That the '90s was a time to be alive. There was a. I think there was. I think a lot of us go back to the '90s because it was really a cultural shift, especially for people of color, black people. I think it was a cultural shift. Um, you had a lot of us were just coming into this new era of understanding who we are, understanding the power that we have. Um, you see a lot of a power shift in the '90s, and you realize just how much not only cultural influence that Black people have, but you also see the buying power of people of color, African American people.
Yes,
You
yes,
see
yes, yes.
the actual digital footprint that we can leave. So we just I don't know, it's like a blossoming era for us. So I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to that. You know,
It really is. It really is a blossoming area. You're really right about that. And with where we're at now, do you think that we've kind of lost our way with that blossoming, being black, especially with the music and the entertainment industry, where we're not being, like I said, as original or leaving our footprint the way we did then? Because that's a huge difference, a huge shift,
yeah.
not just with the music, but just entertainment as a whole.
Mhm. So mm, I don't think we've necessarily lost our way. Um, I think you do have some people that just want to that right now are just focused on the bag. So right now their main focus is I'm just gonna make this sound because this sound is popular, and I'm just trying to get money. I can rap, I can sing. I'm just trying to get this bag, and be on my way. I think I don't think we've lost the blossom effect for our culture. Um, because I think some of our artists are still carrying the mantle and they're still pushing that narrative for us, and they're still leaving their footprint for the culture.
They're trying to
Uh,
push that sound, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we do have a lot of we still have a lot of originality in our music and in our culture. I think that um, I do think there is an agenda that is trying to be pushed for our culture to just push it that we're only about this certain we're only concerned with this type of lifestyle. We only do this. We only do that. So there is that narrative being pushed, but again, we're not. We haven't lost our blossom. I don't think, and I think we're still leaving a gigantic footprint on the culture and on the world. If you notice, rap is still the number one genre of music in the world.
That's
Um,
true, and it's
you know what
growing
I'm saying?
like across everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere. It's
every
growing across everywhere. Like
yeah,
it's literally entire Caucasian women on TikTok like doing whole Cardi B verses.
yeah, and it's amazing.
Like, it's
You know,
growing everywhere.
it's amazing. You know you can go over to China and you can find um, rap culture in China. You can find it in India. You can find
Hmm.
it, everywhere. So our footprint is definitely still there and it's definitely still strong. We just got to get
Hmm.
past the narrative that is being pushed on our culture.
Yes, 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 yes. Definitely have to get past that because if we don't, it could really take down a whole culture. And I'm not sure if many people really understand that truly
Yeah. So we thank
because
God
they are. Cause
for
I need to
saying
get to the bag. I need to get to the bag. I need to get to the bag, but not really considering everything else, and that can be dangerous.
exactly. Exactly. So we thank God for the people that are still holding on to the mantle and still um,
Yes,
showing showing their originality for our culture. I think that's important.
yes, yes, absolutely, 1,000%. Okay, and so our episode here is not going to be too long, but I do want to ask you, what do you appreciate most from the '90s music, and then just kind of what are you hoping to experience more of as we continue with these different artists and their sounds? Like, are you wanting to hear more of that '90s sound, or are you okay with the originality in the new now, just to clean it up a little bit? Like, what are you hoping to hear more of as far as it comes to artists and the music that they're creating?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I really did appreciate about the '90s music was the feel of it. Um, '90s R&B has a feel. It has a beat. It has a rhythm that has never been duplicated in any era of music, any genre.
Yes, yes,
Um,
a
you
1,000%. Yes.
you know a '90s song when you hear it, and I think that is just the most amazing thing about '90s music to me. Even if you step outside of '90s R&B and '90s rap, if you go to '90s rock, if you go to '90s indie or any of those things, the '90s itself just had a specific sound that has never been duplicated. So I appreciate that
It felt
about
real, and it felt like
yeah,
meaningful. Like they weren't just, you could tell that, okay, we're not making it just for the money. We're making it because we really enjoy it. We like to sing. We like to rock. You could tell it's just a difference in the sound and the
yeah,
sound and what they wanted to deliver was delivered.
yeah, exactly. They were intentional in their creativity. They were intentional with with what they put out because they I wouldn't say they understood, but I'm trying to find the words here. It was more of an issue to make the music that really represents them, if that makes sense. So you have like we said, we have artists now that really just try to get the bag, and they create the popular sound. I think up until the '90s, music creation um, was centered around what really represents me and represents my culture. So it's just that homey feeling from the '90s that really kind of uh, um, gets to my heart. Now, as far as the second part of that, um, I don't think we necessarily need to return, because we can't live, in the past. We have to keep moving forward. I have no issues with new originality or new creativity. Um, I just My thing is I just want people to be able to be comfortable with their sound. And I think a lot we have a lot of artists who don't know their sound. And I think that is the key. When you are an artist and when you are a singer, even I'm a praise and worship leader at my church. and we have like 3 or 4 different praise and worship leaders at my church, but um, I can't give the same product that this person gives. I can't give the same vocal range, the same
True. True.
trying to copy this person's sound or this person's style. Now, even though this person
True.
sang and the whole church went up and everybody was screaming and hollering, I can't duplicate exactly what he did because it's not gonna work. You know.
True.
So I think looking for your sound in this new generation is key, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Well, as you can tell, I am in the dark now. I actually have to go. We got to wrap up this episode, and I'm trying not to
You're
fall
good.
going down these stairs. But I would
No, you're
definitely
good.
love
You're
to
good.
talk to you again because yeah, that was really good. That was really good. Normally our episodes go a lot longer. Like I said, it has been a day. It has been a
I
day, and it's just been really busy
mm,
with family and things like that. But I would love to talk to you again up on my coming up on my season 3 for sure. Especially as, like I said, it concerns music, and then just the differences, and even with how a narrative is being pushed, because that's something that a lot of people don't understand, and it needs to be understood. We have to
absolutely,
be really careful and mindful of what we listen to and what we're allowing the our children to listen to and even watch.
absolutely.
Very mindful. And so I would love to talk to you again for sure.
Oh yeah,
When you're
I would love
ready, look,
to.
let me know. Next time I'm gonna be in my usual spot. I won't be all over the place.
No,
But
you.
thank you so much for joining me and being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. And yeah, whenever you're ready to have me, I'm willing to come back. Whenever.
Okay. All right, for sure. I'll definitely bring you back. We're gonna talk about it, and you just let me know.
Yes, ma'am. I got you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, DJ Dev. Are you going to be on TikTok tonight?
I am. I am. I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on. The lounge will be open tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you got some time, or all that, come on by. We would love to have whoever's coming in.
We'll be up there, and I'll make sure I share it on our page. I'll share it on my TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. Y'all got to check out DJ Dev on the Blue Tea Lounge on TikTok. Do you stream anywhere else, or is it just TikTok? Are you on Instagram, or are you just right now keeping it there?
So as far as the lives go, the lives are just on TikTok Live,
Okay.
yeah, TikTok Live. But I do have Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, all that.
Okay. And so, do you plan on going live with your DJ in there as well?
Depending on if Instagram will let me. If Instagram will let me, I would love it.
All right. Okay. I'm all the way for it. I'm
Yeah.
all the way for it. Well, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for being
Thank you
patient
for
with me while
having
I
me.
try to work out these
Oh
technical
no,
difficulties. I really
oh no,
appreciate it.
you're
And
good.
you're
Thank
so
you.
awesome. It was really great talking to you. And I will see you tonight. I know I'm going to be up there.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later, DJ Dev.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thanks. Absolutely. Mhm. All right, y'all. All right. So as I said earlier, I'm all over the place. Today's episode was different, but don't hold it against me, okay? Do not hold it against me. I know I normally have my one spot where I'm at, where I'm recorded, but today I've been in my cousin's house. I was at the dining room table in the kitchen. Now I'm in the car, okay? And it's been a day, but I really appreciate DJ Dev for coming on. I get tongue tied when I'm trying to say it. I think that's what it is. I appreciate DJ Dev for coming on and gracing us with his presence. I also want y'all to make sure that y'all keep Miss Janaea Yvonne in your prayers as well. We keep my lovely co-host in your prayers. And I just want y'all to make sure that you are also following and sharing, because the Love Talk podcast, we're about to end with our season 2, but we'll be back with our season 3 in April. I haven't really, figured out the dates all that much yet. I'm kind of leaning on April 4th. That's my son's birthday. And so I'll probably be back on my baby's birthday. And we are going to be kicking off season 3. We'll be kicking off season 3 with, what is it? The Joke's on You, our comedy week special that we'll be hosting with comedians on the Love Talk podcast. I do not want y'all to miss it. And so, as always, thank you so much for rocking out with me, for being here with me on the Love Talk. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.